right, I think we have another person here. All right, all right. All right, everybody. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for being here on this Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. This is going to be the How to Apply to State Jobs workshop hosted by me, Dimetrios Vandiegriff, Army Desert Storm vet. I am a local veteran employment representative here attached to the Compton office in Region 2. And I will basically be presenting a slide deck and answering any questions that you may have in terms of the hiring process, application, navigation of calcareers.ca.gov. Does anyone have any questions before we go ahead and get started? And at any time, please, we can certainly go over if we need to, but please ask me any questions that you may have, because I certainly want you to be able to understand what's going on. Sometimes I get it, you might want to stop in the middle of a slide, so no problem. And you can also use the chat box as well. So let me go ahead and bring up the presentation here. Let's see, where is my, wait a minute. Let's see, where the heck did I show all windows? Where is my, there we go, bam. Share, boop. All right, can everyone see that clearly? You guys good? Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Let's see, we'll go ahead and advance to slide 2 here. So yeah, I mean, no real house rules. Obviously, we're all in our own house, hopefully. So, but wherever we are, yeah, no worries about that. That's generally with the phones, you know. Everybody wants you to mute your phone. Uh-oh, hold on for a second. I think someone else is coming in. Bloop. Yep. Okay. Oh, okay. No worries. We're going to talk about the benefits of a Cal Career account, how to get started and registered, and creating a template. I'm sorry? Okay. I think everyone's good. Okay. And if for any reason someone can't hear me or see me at some point, please let me know, because I know how we all know how technology can be a little funny. 3 steps to a state job. We're going to talk about creating the Cal Careers account. We'll talk about the exams and the assessments and applying for the jobs. SOQs, which stand for Statement of Qualifications. Some jobs you apply for will actually want you to write a statement of qualification, so I will go over that, and I'll give you some helpful tips and tricks. And again, any questions at any time, you can put it in the chat box, or you can also hit me in that moment, and I will stop and do my best to answer your questions. Let's see. So one of the benefits of a Cal Careers account is that you will receive these contact letters in the mail, which are pretty cool. It also sets up notifications for job. Did somebody say anything? Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I thought I heard somebody asking me something. But at any rate, it also sets up notification for job opportunities electronically. So once you have an account, you'll automatically get these notifications sent to you. And then you can also have that notification email you as well. Or you can always just log in and check your Cal Careers account. It allows you to upload and store your resumes, your SOQs, and other documents such as your transcripts, for example, and other certifications, things that you may need to upload for that specific job that you're interested in. I believe it allows you to store up to 10 resumes, if I'm not mistaken, because obviously you always want to make your resume very germane to the specific job that you're applying to. It also allows you to view your eligibility status, Oh, there it is. It does. Yep. Save up to 10 application templates. And it also gives you search options by county or by geographic location. So you can search for jobs in an area that maybe you're moving to, or an area that maybe you want to move to, and you want to search Santa Barbara specifically or LA County. So anyway, moving right along. So basically how to get started is, you're going to put that into your browser, that calcareers.ca.gov. It used to be jobs.ca.gov, just FYI, but it no longer is that. I believe if you type that in, it's going to redirect you to the calcareers.ca.gov anyway. And so this is what that page looks like. And as you can see, you have a lot of different options here, and the highlighted box there is where you would click to create your account. And once you create your account, obviously you would click there to log in. Now, obviously this is your standard kind of template that we all are used to seeing these days, where you're going to put the email and your name and create a password and put your other information, address and phone number. And then there is what's called a Cal Career ID. And so what happens is it will create that for you once you're creating your profile. And so everyone will have a unique Cal Career ID. That is just a part of this specific ecosystem. And so, boom, creating a template. And so the standard application, or what's called the STD, and please let me know if I'm moving too fast or if I'm advancing too fast or what have you. But at any rate, the STD 678, that's something that you can Google or whatever. You can type into a browser and search, and you can pull that document up, which is the standard application for employment here in the state of California. And so when you create a template, you can name it. And then these are the various questions that you will have in order to create that template, which, I won't bore you with all the details, but if you do want to create a template, and the benefit of creating a template is so that you don't have to keep creating the same thing over and over. And so initially you're going to have that one, I would imagine, just in getting into this ecosystem. But again, like I said earlier, you obviously want to always have the application very germane and specific to that job you're applying for, and that generic application template that you may fill out may not be applicable like you need to. So it gives you the option to create 10 of these. But at any rate, once you fill in this information, it will allow you to save it and store up to 10. And obviously, just like any profile, you will just go through the tabs and fill out all of the germane information that is germane to you. Obviously, your educational background. It will ask about your experience and so forth. Your employment history. And then it gives you the ability to print the application template if you'd like, because you can send the application in through the mail, or you can fax it, if you choose. Some people are still using those means, and we obviously extend those options. But everything is all electronic and housed within this system as well. But let's see. Boom. And so it gives you the ability to save all these various documents so that you don't have to always constantly, upload them every time that you're interested in a job. That stuff will be stored, and then you can just click on it and add those specific documents for that specific job that you're applying for. And as you can see, it gives you several different options: transcripts, resumes, so on and so forth. Step 2, searching and taking an exam. So you'll be evaluated based on your education, experience, skills, knowledge, abilities through an exam assessment. And if determined suitable, you're eligible to start applying. And so you'll be able to take that exam, that assessment right there, and then it will advance you on through the process. And these are just the various different, this is just kind of a screenshot of different jobs. So, for example, if you want to apply for account clerk 2 or business tax rep, blah, blah, they would want you to have a 2-year degree. If you want to apply for audiologist aide or claim auditor, all you have to have is a high school diploma, blah, blah. So this kind of just gives you the basics of the kind of background that educational background that they would want you to have prior to applying for various jobs. So it gives you the ability to search by keyword or job title or department. And there's 2 types: an in-person exam, which we still do. Obviously, all that stuff is done on a schedule. And let me see here. I'm just going to look in the chat box real quick. What if you have the work years equivalency of the degrees indicated instead of the formal schooling? Oh, that's a very good question. And so the question is, what if you have the work years equivalency of the degrees indicated instead of the formal schooling? Generally what happens with that is I would encourage you to apply, because if you do have that experience and that background, minus, let's say, a 2-year degree or what have you, or even a 4-year degree for that matter, I would still encourage you to apply for that position, because generally what will happen is you will have the ability to create what's called a SOQ, which we'll get into in a minute here, which is the statement of qualifications. And then you can get into the specifics of why you qualify for that specific position. So very good question. I hope I answered it adequately for you. Let me take a look here in the chat box. Oh, okay. When you say the question is, are the exams exactly the same? I'm not sure I understand the question, but I will tell you that the assessments, there's various different assessments, and I'm not sure how that pops up, but when you get it, you'll flow through that, and then you'll be able to advance through the process. As far as exams for the job, I believe they are the same if you're applying for that job. So everybody will take the same exam, if that's what you're referring to. And as you can see, boop, online exams, life experience, and education questionnaires. And not all jobs offer all of these, are looking for these various nuances. And so it just depends on the specific job. And so as you're applying to a specific job, it will absolutely tell you what it's looking for, and so in that, they are all different. Some jobs don't require as much nuance. Let's see here. Boop. Entry-level exams it takes. So it's just kind of giving you some generic examples: office assistant, and what to expect under close supervision as a trainee, and performing general clerical duties. And it just kind of gives you some explanations of what these other jobs do. Office tech, which is a more advanced office position, performs a variety of difficult administrative duties. And staff service analyst, which performs analytical work of average difficulty in a variety of assignments, such as program evaluation, planning, etc. It gives you these descriptions so that you can imagine, yourself doing it, and if you have the background, but at any rate, and again, this is obviously what that page looks like. And so let's say that we were going to do a search for this specific thing, information technology, which obviously we're in the 4th Industrial Revolution. Everything's technology, right? Boom. This is what the search results will produce. And it will give you those specific jobs, and it will tell you the department. It'll give you the final filing date. It'll give you various information. What you want to make sure you pay attention to is where that job is. Because the state of California is huge. I think we all know that. And some jobs, they may list like the same kind of title, right? For example, but they may be in various places from the top of California to the bottom and everywhere in between. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I want you to be thinking about that. The reason why I'm emphasizing that is sometimes you might apply to a job and you think that it's going to be somewhere local and it's not, so I will show you how you can really make sure so that you're not applying to a job in Santa Barbara when you want to apply for a job here. Okay, boop. Let's see. And this is what an exam posting looks like. Okay, so for IT Specialist 1, it basically tells you the salary, it tells you who should apply, gives you the final filing date. Hold on for 1 second. Sorry about that, I was getting a call. Uh-oh. Hold on for 1 second. Dimetrios here. Oh, okay. Can I send that to you? Okay. No problem. I'll let him right in. Okay. Okay, you too. Bye now. All right, y'all. I have to add one more participant. I do apologize for the interruption. It will be just a second. I'm just going to email it to one of my counterparts here. And then that way she can send it to her participant. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Sorry about that. Not the usual thing, but moving right along. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions at this moment? Everybody good? Okay. So basically, this is what exam postings looks like. And so basically, it kind of walks you through the different screenshots as you're going through the process. And again, this is a different, what's called an exam bulletin. And it tells you range A, range B, range C. I can tell you based on what I do know, generally everybody will start off with that range A. And then what happens is, as you move through time, you graduate through those ranges. And so once you've been in your position, going into your second, your third year, your fourth year, your fifth year, it moves you through those different ranges in terms of your salary. And yeah, so it basically tells you who can apply, who should apply, and how to apply. This screenshot will tell you, like it's highlighting the training and experience evaluation, and it's also highlighting the scheduling for the written exam for that. And so you always want to just make sure, as you can see here in this example, just make sure you pay attention to that date and time. And make sure that you are a little bit early, because sometimes when you have to go in person, nowadays things are pretty well scheduled out, but I would still show up a little bit early, because you never know. Sometimes it can be a little chaotic. But always show up for that exam early. Don't show up on time, because sometimes they have that schedule pretty tight, and you might have to reschedule your exam. So just FYI. Let's see. This is just a screenshot for the online exam. And it's for EPR. So most of the positions, even my position, we have specialties. And so I work under a specific grant, which is the JVSG grant. So I work with veterans, but I work with the entire public, re-entry, dislocated workers, and just anybody, for that matter. But we are all what's called EPRs, employment program reps. And so no matter what capacity you may work in unemployment, you may work in disability insurance, You may work in workforce services like I do, where we're all essentially employment program reps. And so, just FYI. Yeah, this is just going through the screenshots and the standard stuff that we all are used to seeing these days. Samples of preview training and evaluation questions. So making decisions under tight time constraints and with limited information. Example, determining service delivery dates, committing to project deadlines. And it just basically walks you through what it's looking for. And so I won't bore you with those details. This is nothing to really stress about, I will tell you that. And then boom, once you finish that exam, you'll get those results and it will tell you. And so in this example, congratulations, blah, blah, you passed for this specific title, which is staff service analyst, yada, yada, yada. And it tells you that when it expires. And what that means is that you want to apply and be on with that specific position in that interim. Otherwise, if not, you'll have to retake it. And so that's all that means. And it says you may retake the exam 6 months from the date of exam. And so, moving right along. And so, let me move this out of the way. And so this screenshot shows a list of various jobs that someone's applied for or is interested in applying for. And it tells you the online exams, it gives you the date and when it expires. And so I can tell you there are a lot of cool jobs from A through Z here with the state of California. There's a lot of stuff that I see from time to time that I go, I wouldn't mind doing that. But so as you're applying for these jobs, like I said, you can apply and have 10 different templates saved. Make sure they're germane to the specific job that you're applying to. You can take those exams for all those various jobs and just make sure you pay attention to those dates. Does anybody have any questions? I know we just had a new addition to the room. It's pretty straightforward stuff. It's really not that complicated, to be quite honest. I'll definitely, like I said, I'll give you some tips on what to pay close attention to. I'll tell you where I made my mistake once we get to that part. Now, step 3, applying for jobs. Oh. Wait, go back up. What are you doing? Boop. Sorry about that. This is the screenshot for that. Boom. And then you can do an advanced job search like this and type in, let's say, information technology specialist. These are the results. Raised hand, let's see. Are there cover letter templates also? Yes. Yep, so you can save everything from resumes to cover letters to transcripts to certifications. It allows you to save all of these in your profile. So absolutely. And so after that, you do that search, these are the results. And as you can see, this person did it in Sacramento County. Because like I said, obviously we all know how big California is. This is where you want to pay close attention. If you can see, they did that search and they used location because they wanted to obviously stay within that area or wanted to look for jobs in that area. Now, when you see department, obviously we're Employment Development Department. The state of California has all of the jobs. This website has all jobs for all the departments and all the various agencies within the state of California. It's not just the Employment Development Department. We have Department of Transportation, California Highway Patrol, and there's just a lot. And so you can search for jobs within those various departments and other agencies, but make sure you pay attention to the location that job is in. Now, as you can see, this one, it gives you a title, Enterprise Cloud Services, blah, blah. But as you can see, again, location, Sacramento County. It tells you when it was published, in this example, 823 of 18, gives you the salary range, permanent full-time, so on and so forth. Boom. Oh, sorry about that. Boom. Boom. So this is what the job posting looks like, and it gives you all of that same information that we've already discussed. Tells you your salary range and so forth. Then it tells you when the final date is, and a lot of times it'll say until filled, like it does in this example. Gives you the minimum requirements, gives you special requirements. The job will tell you exactly how to apply for it. It will tell you what it's looking for. So as you can see up here, it says job application package and a duty statement, right? And so every job will specifically tell you all of this information and exactly what it's looking for in terms of applying. It tells you who may apply. In this example, says individuals who are currently in the classification. And it gives you, and so on and so forth. I won't bore you with all these details, but boom, statement of qualification. This is something that you want to pay attention to when it asks you for that. And what is a statement of qualification? A statement of qualification is basically a summation. Let me look in this chat here. I was delayed in getting back to the room due to wrong link. I know she were talking about exams and then went to apply for jobs. Exams have to be taken before applying for a job. No. Sometimes you can apply for a job and take the exam later. Some exams you will have to take before you apply for the job. And so it all depends on the specific job. So it's a variable. So what a statement of qualification, just to keep it short and simple, is a concise statement of how you qualify for that specific job. And so it's not something that needs to be pages long. Generally, you want to make it a couple of paragraphs long and keep it concise. Because again, it says statement of qualification. So it doesn't need to be some long, drawn out thing. Now, to be quite honest, some jobs, which can be more extensive, may ask for more information. So again, it is very specific to the job, and you always just want to make sure that you're clearly answering whatever it's asking. You know, sometimes I know we all, especially me, we can ramble sometimes when asked a question, you know, whether we're doing it electronically or in person, you know. And so I would just encourage you to stay very concise to what it's asking and make sure that you definitely answer it directly. And if there's a background investigation requirement, it will obviously tell you that too. Boom. And so obviously, you know, it highlights the button apply now. Boom. And then this is what it walks you through the process of what applying for a job looks like, screenshot by screenshot. And then you will just basically go through these various questions like you would, like you always do. Boom. And then it will ask if you have an application template. If you did not hear me emphasize it earlier, you are able to save up to 10 application templates. And I would encourage you to make sure that those applications are very germane to the specific to the job that you're applying for. And so it gives you the ability to access that template, or you can use a blank application. And then this is basically completing the application process. So as you go through it, it will tell you what the required documents are, and if you have them. It also gives you the ability to edit them. You know, you can, or check them, double check them, you know, and so forth. And then the application status. On your profile, it will give you that status. And once you submit it, it will change status to submitted, and then you can archive the applications that you've been submitted for. and they'll be saved on your account so you can see all of the different jobs you've applied for, the date of submission, and so forth. Then obviously it gives you the ability to apply by mail, which you can do. And it tells you the mailing and drop-off instructions. And so, for people that still want to do that, you are more than welcome to. I think when I came in 17, and prior to that, in 16 and 17, I was mailing them off. Literally, I was, running to the mail, to the postal office and mailing them off. But at any rate, the next thing we're going to get into is the STD 678. Now, I want to help you appreciate and emphasize paying very close attention. And I will tell you that because I made a mistake when I first applied into the state of California. So as you can see on this application, anyone can Google this. You can type in STD 678 and it will give you the ability to save this, download this, so forth. Now, as you can see, it says the first 3 letters of your last name at birth, right? Simple enough, right? Month of birth, day of birth. And then it says last 4 digits of your social security number. But guess what I put there? I put my birth year there, okay? I'll admit it. I am certainly not perfect. But what I can tell you is I had sent off about 20 applications now. Follow me, 20. And I'm not exaggerating. Because the DMV was doing a lot of hiring. I was just trying to get into the state of California at the time, And the DMV kept sending me all these different jobs, and which is cool about creating a profile into Cal Careers, because they will send you the notices, right? And then you can decide if you want to apply to it. But so anyway, I sent off about 20 of these things. Didn't get one response. Not one. Like, wait a minute. I got a degree. I got a clean background. I'm an Army Desert Storm vet. I'm just like, wow, what is going on, right? I swear, I started writing my congressman. I'm emailing, hey, I can't even get an interview, Lo and behold, I vetted myself out. No one ever told me that. I had to figure it out on my own. And I realized it late in the game. But it was divine because that's how I'm in the position I'm in. Otherwise, I'd be your helpful DMV guy, okay? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I am just grateful to be in these roles that I've been in for the last 5 years. But so I say that to pull it all back together, just to emphasize, pay close attention to what it's asking for, and then double check. Because these are the kind of things that, I didn't think I needed to double check. I know when I'm born, I don't make that mistake, right? But it wasn't asking for those digits. It was asking for the last 4 of the Social Security. The reason is it then creates what's called the Easy ID in this box here. Now, of course, the last 4 is not the same as my birth year, okay? And so I never got contacted from the DMV, not one single time. And so, but obviously I did get contacted from EDD, and the rest is history. But I say that again just to emphasize, pay attention, because you could vet yourself out of the process if you don't. So, it obviously asks for, the standard stuff, your name, your social, blah, blah, your address. Here, in this box where it says examination or job title, and how are we on time? Let me see. Oh, we're good. In this box here, this is where you want to put all of this various information. These, not just the title, but you want to put the job number, and you want to put that JC number there. That is very specific to not only the job you're applying for, but to where that job is. And so, again, I'm emphasizing it because it's very important that you do this. And then the rest is some pretty standard stuff, that obviously all of it requires your attention, but all the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory, and but definitely pay attention. That is something I definitely want to emphasize. Boom. Now, I talked a little bit about this earlier, and now we're going to get a little more into the meat of it. What is a statement of qualification? An SOQ, or a statement of qualification, is a tool used to emphasize job seekers' knowledge, skills, and abilities. It's intended to attract the reader and pique their interest in the applicant. It also demonstrates the applicant's writing skills. It highlights their job-related qualifications. And in the case of job postings with specific requirements for the SOQ, the applicant's ability to follow instructions. An SOQ, when requested, is just one of several materials that you'll submit when applying for a job. Boom. So, the SOQ addresses how your experiences and or knowledge will help you in applying for the position. It's a narrative on how the candidate's education, training, experience, and skills meet the minimum qualifications for the position. And so that's why I stated earlier that even if you don't necessarily meet the educational requirements, but if you can make up for it with experience and so forth, that speaks volumes. And so I would encourage you to apply, even if you don't, because if you have the experience, it's just as good, and I think often better than just an education. And it also serves as documentation of each candidate's ability to present information clearly and concisely in writing. Depending upon the special instructions, the SOQ should be no more than 2 pages in length. And I do see that typo, it says that. I'm going to have to correct that. However, each SOQ may vary. It's imperative that you read the special instruction on each job posting. And resumes never, never, never take the place of the SOQ, just FYI. So how do you start? Well, you develop your story. Using all the information available, put together a document that shows what makes you qualified for the position. Bring in your past experiences that highlight your skills and abilities, whether paid or not, including volunteer work and your education. You want to maintain a portfolio of your experience over the years, adding projects and duties performed as you remember them and as they occurred in chronological order. What do you include? You tailor your SOQ to the duties listed in the duty statement and desirable qualifications listed on the job posting. Make sure that your SOQ cites your experience related to the duties listed. Another element of an SOQ is a summary of your current role. When referring to your current role, provide detailed examples that justify your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Speaking to the agency's mission and vision in your SOQ helps you present yourself as someone who can contribute to the needs of the agency. And I will just simply tell you again and emphasize that all of us here are sworn civil servants. We're here to serve each other as well as everyone here. And so regardless of anyone, that is part of the primary mission, is someone that wants to be of service to others. Boom. How do you finish? In all SOQs, make sure to include your name, the position you're applying for, and a small introductory paragraph unless otherwise directed. Format your SOQ by highlighting the key skills and abilities that the job announcement has listed and address each one separately. Write a closing statement. Your closing is one last opportunity to make a statement that is memorable, indelible to the reader and reviewer. Your closing paragraphs should be brief and simple. Tips for submitting your application. Use all relevant paid and volunteer experience. Use good punctuation. Spell words correctly. Spell out acronyms. Many people may not be familiar with a specific acronym in the ecosystem that you're in. And so make sure if you have those or you use those, spell them out so the reader knows exactly what that is. Make sure all required documents are included in your application package. Have someone review your application package for errors. And submit your application prior to the end of the filing date. And from time to time, some jobs are, the filing date may change. So there may be a final one and then it gets extended. But at any rate, you always want to submit according to that filing date and submit prior to that. Other application tips: don't send generic applications or resumes. Remember, like I said before, you want to make them germane to that job. You know, and when you tell your story, don't tell it in just some generic way. Tell it in a compelling way. You know, it's not about what you don't know, but I would always offer that someone that has a coachable enthusiasm is better than someone that has an arrogance about their experience. Oh yeah, I've done that. You know, so if you don't know, never stress about what you don't know, but be willing to learn, you know. And so coachable enthusiasm goes a long way. Never write "C resume" on your application. Hiring managers are looking for duties that directly correlate to the job bulletin and duty statement. Always give relevant job information. The duty statement provides detailed information on the position's routine tasks. If the department does not provide a link to the duty statement on the job posting, call the hiring unit contact number provided and ask to be sent a copy. And tips for the hiring interview: study the job announcement, review the duty statement, relate your experience and knowledge to the essential duties and desirable qualifications, review departmental website, and answer the interview questions thoroughly. They also have what's called a Limited Examination and Appointment Program, or LEAP for short. It's a program designed to help persons with disabilities get jobs in California State Civil Service. It is an alternative to the traditional testing process and allows applicants to demonstrate garnered knowledge, skills, and abilities through an on-the-job scenario. Potential candidates should make an appointment with the Department of Rehabilitation, or DOR, to start the LEAP certification process. Veterans preference. I myself am an Army Desert Storm veteran, and so like many civil service, and I believe all civil service jobs, they do offer a preference to veterans. It's a program for individuals receiving military benefits and seeking employment with the state of California. Copies of the Cal HR 1093, which also is Googleable, and a legible DD 214. All of my military people do know what that is. And if I haven't said this to my veterans that are here, I do want to say thank you for your service and your sacrifice. And then VP or Veterans Preference will be awarded as follows. Any veteran, widow or widower of a veteran, or spouse of a 100% disabled veteran who achieves a passing score in an entrance exam shall be ranked in the top rank of the resulting eligibility list. Any veteran who has been dishonorably discharged or released is not eligible for Veterans Preference. An entrance examination is defined under the law as any competitive examination, and Veterans Preference is not granted once a person achieves permanent civil service status. So summary, basically, we went over creating a profile in Cal Careers. We talked about the exams and the assessments. We talked about applying for vacancies. Went over SOQs, hiring interview. Again, it's about having coachable enthusiasm. Never be stressed about what you don't have and don't know. Just always be willing to learn it. We talked about the LEAP program and veterans preferences. And then these are the URLs that we currently use. And that calcareers.ca.gov replaces the old caljobs.ca.gov. So, does anyone have any questions? If you'd like, you all can put all of your information in the chat box, and I can email you some information, and I can also keep you up to date on other workshops and upcoming recruitments that we will also be having. We do have quite a few things on the calendar in February, so just FYI. So, does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself, because questions are always good for other people as well. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, this is Michael. I was a little late getting in. One, do I need to put my name in the chat box for
You can put
you know I was here?
well, you can put your name and your email in there, and then yeah, I will certainly create a list of everyone here. I'm gonna do a screenshot. Matter of fact, let me get my other keyboard here. Bloop. Oop.
Chat box.
I'm gonna do screenshot. Boom. And let me put that here. Where's my screenshots? There it is. Boom. 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 Okay, and then let me go back here. Oh. Alright. Let's see here. Then I will take all of this info and transpose it. Yeah, I don't, you know what? I don't know if I recorded this or not. Not a big deal. I do it regularly enough, so. Oh God, I didn't. Or did I? No. Nope, I must have missed it. But it's okay. I do have it recording on 2 other devices, so. But yeah, if you put your email there, I will certainly put you on a distribution list where you will get updates on upcoming events, recruitments, job fairs, and other workshops, as well as get job leads. And so, if you're interested in that, definitely put your email there, and I will add you to my distribution, and then you will receive that information regularly.
Okay, you mentioned that the Cal Jobs is now career something. Well, if you go to Cal Jobs, will it
Redirect? Yes.
redirect you?
It should. I don't want to say yes. This technology is real, you know. So, but yes, it should. But Cal Careers with an S .ca.gov is the link. Cal, short for California, careers, plural, .ca.gov. And then definitely create a profile on there. And it is a great way to come into this ecosystem. I came into it 5 years ago, so I'm now pensionable, because you need to have 5 years of service in order to be eligible for pension. And so I like the stability of working here. To be honest with you, they encourage you to take care of yourself. So if you or you have a loved one or loved ones for that matter that have pre-existing health conditions and it requires time away from work, you don't have to stress about that in this employment. I'm a big advocate of mental health. I have used all 5 years, and I've been in mental health management for all 5 years. But now I'm on a level where I do a guided meditation with my therapist. I've been with her for 2 years, once a week. But I used it to learn a lot of different things about mental health. And so I encourage people, if you're trying to manage it, you got to go learn from somewhere. And the only place that it's offered generally is clinically. And then I've also gotten my physical health. I was 100 pounds 6 years ago, and now I'm, I'm less than 20 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school. And so I say all that to emphasize some of the benefits of working here for the state of California. They do offer you sick leave each month from day one, as well as vacation from day one. And you build that up, and you're able to utilize sick time anytime, you have to call in, and, or what have you. Vacation time you can use as you build it up. And so, and there's just a lot of different things. They also encourage you to get another job, whether it's within the agency, outside the agency. They really do encourage you to do what's best for you. And so you don't have to worry about sneaking around or not talking or asking for help. Even your managers will help you get better employed or take advantage of opportunities or teach you whatever they know to really truly help you, you know. Because again, the whole idea of working here is to be in service to others, and not just people that don't work there that come there, but to each other, you know. And so, you know, I do enjoy what I do. I have from day one. There's a lot of training that they offer. There's a lot of voluntary training that you can take on your own. They have a training portal that you can log into anytime and get a lot of training, whether it's learning how to use PowerPoint better or presentations. I mean, it's a lot of different things. And you can go in a lot of different directions. You know, we have 9 divisions. Unemployment is one. I've never worked in it. I've always worked in workforce services. But we have a tax branch. We have a labor market information division. And, you know, so there's a lot of things that a person can do within this agency. And so, but having the ability to retire and get an income for the rest of your life, you know, I'm getting a little older, and so that's hitting the kind of notes that I like. That was another reason why I came into this space, because I wanted to have some secure employment. A lot of us all know there's what's called at-will employment, and when you're a sworn civil servant, it's not at-will employment. And so, and there's a comfort, at least for me and for many others, in that, you know. And you don't have to worry about a lot of the politics of working in an at-will space where they can just literally get rid of you for whatever reason, you know. And so when you get on here, it doesn't work like that. You know, once you pass your first 12 months of probation, then you start moving towards permanency. But generally on any job, I would always caution people, the first year is always an extended interview, right? You know, so that's with anywhere, including here, you know. But generally, once you get through this process and you start working here, it's a pretty nurturing place to be, you know. I can tell you, I brought some of my own issues, you know. You know, and I can tell you, again, they've also given me the ability to take care of myself and to take care of my life and my family and just, you know, and so, and working from home for the last 2 years out of the 5 I've been here because of the COVID has been very cool too. A lot of people have been able to telework. So for example, some of our EPRs that have to go in because they work in other programs, now they were going in like every other day and that kind of thing. So now what they're only having to do is they go in once for a whole week, and then they're at home working for the rest of the month. And so I talked to one yesterday, and she told me, I was like, oh, because they keep rotating, because obviously everyone's trying to stay safe from COVID, and our agency's no different with that. But yeah, just some of the tidbits, some of the whys I'm here, why, you know, some of the things that I like about working here and having a career here, because it's literally a career. You know, my manager still keeps encouraging me to go into management, and she's trying to help me with anything with my career, you know. And so, yeah. So if you guys do have any other questions, hopefully you have my contact info. You put your emails and stuff up there. I will add you to my distro list, and I will send out, like I said, the updates of jobs, job leads, upcoming events, recruitments, job fairs, and so on. And if you ever have any other questions outside of that, please ask. I work with Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I'm with the California Department of Veterans Affairs.
Oh.
And I was an EDD vet rep for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
So getting into state employment is a great stepping stone. You can either stay with EDD, you can go up in management, or if you find you want to go another path, I love working for the California Department of Veterans Affairs. It's a great opportunity. I do outreach in 8 counties, Stanislaus, Kern. And I do work solely from home because we are field reps that report to Sacramento. There are 8 of us in the state of California. So
Wow.
getting into the state is kind of a launching pad. You can move up or you can move over. There's great opportunities. I was a retail executive for 28 years. I was with Dutchbox department stores for 24 years, and then in 2009, on a Tuesday afternoon, the president came in and told everybody your last day is Friday. That's the private sector for you.
I've
So I
been
feel
there.
a great amount of stability.
Right.
I feel the benefits are unbelievable.
Right.
I'm a United States Army veteran. I take advantage of
Hooah!
all of the benefits. It's never too late to get there. If you need any information about California state benefits or any federal benefits, I put my information in the chat box. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to assist you.
Oh, that is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. I'm about to grab all of this. Let's see here. Let me boop. Let's say chat. And then, boom, wait, let me scroll down here. Get this. That is really rich. And that's so encouraging. I'm glad to hear that. Because, I from time to time, especially now that I'm crossing that threshold of 5 years, I do, ponder other things, but I still want to work in this kind of vein. I enjoy engaging with people and being helpful and learning about all the veteran services. I'm a disabled vet myself, and trying to just encourage people that are eligible to go for it and give them the tips, and point them in the right direction. Give them the resources to aid and assist, because we all need that, so I'm enthusiastic about this and doing this. I've always been this way. I was in corporate sales for 20 years, so I totally understand what you're saying. Even when I got back from Desert Storm, my first corporate job, they did back in the early 90s. You remember the word downsizing? That's what happened to me. I got downsized, And so, okay, cool. I got everybody's information. Let me just make sure before I let you guys go. I got the
So my mission is outreach, and the reason I'm so passionate about it is I served in the Army from 1975 to 1978. Used my GI Bill, got my degree, got my VA home loan, and I thought that's it. But it wasn't until 12 years ago when I started working for the state of California, I realized I could file for compensation.
Right.
Service-connected disability, which leads to additional benefits. I'm now enrolled in VA healthcare. So a lot of these benefits that you're entitled to don't expire, and you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So it's my mission as outreach to make sure that veterans and women veterans too, because a lot of times we didn't realize we were veterans. So those benefits are available to you, and that's totally my goal every day and my mission when I get up in the morning.
Absolutely. I think I'm totally aligned with that mission as well, and I just want to be the best, to be at my best, to be able to be the best resource for people. Hopefully everything I offer has nutrient and has value, and whether it's germane to that person or maybe germane to someone they know, but that's really the kind of impact that I try to have. I try to impact ecosystems and the people within them, and I try to be, as helpful and as nutrient as I can be, and so doing this kind of work, it's aligned with my heartbeat. So, but no, thank you again for your service, Ahua, because I'm Army Desert Storm. I was active from I don't even want to talk a long time, 1988. And of course, Desert Storm was 1990 and 91. I deployed with Fort Riley out of Big Red 1, Fort Riley, Kansas, and was in a field artillery unit. But when I got back, I did some reserve time, came back to California because I grew up in Carson, California. I'm currently a city commissioner there for the Veterans Affairs Commission. The current mayor lives on my street. Matter of fact, She's about 8 doors down. She's the first black female mayor of the city of Carson, which is a very young city. Carson was born in 1968. But, and we've had the family house there since 1975. But, yeah, being able to be my natural self, someone that connects with community and people and tries to pass information and make sure I stay up on current things and, and just be a resource. It's been helpful. I got my pension finally working here in within my first year. I had been denied for 12, and I didn't understand the fullness of what it meant. I didn't understand the fullness of those things, I thank God I survived and got to that point, And now I'm a walking advocate of what you're doing mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. I went through financial literacy classes like I didn't even know how to add, and I've got a couple degrees, so I'm not, I know a little bit, but I still went through financial literacy classes as I was a DBOP, case managing vets, and I'm sending them to these things. I said I need to learn some of this stuff myself, and so getting financial literacy is very important. I made tons of money, but guess what? I spent tons of money. And had I had the financial literacy that I've now been living under for the last 4 or 5 years, then I still have a lot of that wealth. But, and then mental health, everybody thinks it's somebody else or it looks a certain way or whatever. And everybody has a mental component to their reality. And the problem is that we don't learn mental health strategies. We don't really even talk about it quite in its fullness, even still, right? It's very important for everyone to learn healthy coping skills, managing emotions, right? And I've gone through a lot of different modules. And like I said, working in this space, they've allowed me to go to those appointments. Because let me tell you, it's a lot. It takes a lot of time, to take care of yourself. But that's part of the benefits, like you said, the lifetime benefits that I have, and I take full advantage of it as a man. Because we're not the best at taking care of ourselves. And so as I learn it, I try to talk to other men about it. And I encourage them. Mental health, if you want to be the best man you can be, you better be on top of your mental health too, brother. It's not about just making money. It's not about just providing. Mental health is going to help you be the best you can be, And then it's about maintaining. I've done all that stuff for years. Now I'm in a different space. I do guided meditation and I take meditative approaches to a lot of things in my life, and it has helped me tremendously. I've learned a lot. But it's also not what I did, it's also what you continue to do. What are you deliberate and intentional about? Because that is where you're going to be. And so if you can't assign health to an area you do nothing in, that's ridiculous, right? And so, but yeah, I've learned a lot in these years, and and I'm still just continuing to grow myself, continuing to evolve, and trying to maintain the health that I've achieved. Because it's not about getting it, it's about keeping it, right? And so, in order to keep something, you have to continue to work. You want your grass to continue to grow, you got to keep watering it, right? So, like they say, life is like a garden if you can dig it. So, anyway, if you guys, wait, let me see here on this chat box. I don't want to leave anybody out. Definitely. Let me grab that. Let me make sure I have that info before I cut this. Wait, where's my screenshots? Document, boom. Did I put your email on there? Yep, I do have it. A5, yep, I do. Yep, perfect. Bam. Yeah, so. All right, y'all. Well, onward and upward. Have the best day. And again, I will add you guys to my list, to my distro. If you have any other questions in the future, feel free to contact me. And thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Take care now. Be well.
You too.
Thanks now.